Is it? Oh, hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my stream and another chapter. What might be the final chapter. I don't know for sure. We're going to find out. It's this guy right there. That's our F-35A Lightning II by Tamiya. We'll run the intro and maybe we'll find out. Okay, guys, we're back and possibly finishing up this bird. I don't know. I really don't know. We got our model kit here, and we've got, to be honest, I don't even know what's next on this. I think we're going to get done today. I think. I don't know. But I do know we still have a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe not a whole bunch, but we still have stuff to do on the bottom side of this bird. Obviously, we got a few of our bay doors put in last time, and we still have a couple to do. One I have installed already off camera. Now, last time, as we know, I'll switch the camera so you can see here. We got these guys. These ones put in with their little arms and everything, and we got a little metal rod that has to go in there, right? Remember that from last time? I remember that from last time. Of course I do. I did the other one, and I actually put the two pieces together like they show in the instructions. Where are my instructions? Oh, that metal rod fell out. Oh no, terrible. Here we go. So you put the metal rod through there, and then you put these two, sandwich them together. Very simple, very easy. The rod just slips in here. These things, Tamiya has done a really good job at making sure these all line up. So the rod just slides in like that. Oh, line it up, line it up. Come on. There we go. All the way down. And it won't fall out. This end makes it stop. So the only thing is just to make sure it does line up in here. Oh, it already went in. Yeah, okay. It went in on its own. I didn't have to guide it. Isn't that nice? But it should go all the way through so that you've got all the way down, so you've got a little, you've got some room in there, okay? Then you install them, okay? Step 38, you put them in. So in your weapons bay, you're going to have a little peg, and it's going to look like that, okay? It's going to look like that on there, and that's where that little hole is going to, you're going to put that in first, okay? Put that in first. Now, I'm going to turn my plane around, actually, because I've already done this side, right? And I'm actually not going to turn the plane around. So our peg that's going to get lined up is right here, right there. Okay, you guys see that there? That little peg right in there. So we installed that thing a long time ago, right in there. That's a little piece here. So it's going to slide right into that little peg there. Okay. And then we've got these big flat pieces here. One here, here, and way over here. Okay. Now this one I found was a little bit tough. I actually had to use some CA glue to get this one to stay down because the regular glue just wasn't holding it. So we're going to find out if I have the same problem with this one. Okay. These guys have little flat, little knobs that go into those holes, and the rest of it is just flat flush. Flat flush. Yeah. Let me change my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. In fact, I just might want to take them off to do this. We will see. Okay, so first things first, line this up onto that little peg in that hole. Peg go in your hole. Might be easier. Yeah, see now my little rod has slid out of here. So we should slide down further. There we go. Okay. Kind of holding it with my thumb so it doesn't. And that ought to line up right there. So this side doesn't want to line up very good. And it's basically because the angle of my little peg doesn't want to go into the hole. You don't want to go in the hole, guys. And actually my rod came out again. What am I doing? I had like no problem. The other side went in just like lickety split, like no problem at all. Get back in your hole. Get back in your hole. You're not too good for your home. Okay, stay there. Getting that to line up in there is proving to be very difficult. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Oh, almost. Oh, damn it. Okay, we're in. Sort of in. Front one's in. I'm going to put a little glue on this one, just as it sits like that. That's going to at least, you know, at least it makes it a little tacky and will help it, you know, while the glue is setting, make it so it sticks a little bit, even if it's not perfectly held. It's going to hold that in there for me, at least for a minute, while I get the back one lined up. The back one is the challenge. As you can see, I get a little bit of resistance as it's not really lined up there. But I'm going to try. Why doesn't that line up? This side I'm not having lined up at all. This side don't want to line up at all on the back. Oh, there we go. But it's still, it's our angle here. This piece here is the one that's really giving us the issue, and it doesn't want to, it kind of has to do that and slide down. And I can see now where I had the issue on this side, that I didn't pop it through. See, this little section has to pop through that little slot in order for it to line up. So in fact, at the end of the day, this side, as much as it's given me a bit of a headache in getting it in there, now that it's in there, it's fitting a lot better than the other side did for me. So hindsight being 2020, I wouldn't have had to use the CA glue had I realized that. You need to get back in your home. I'm using generous amounts of glue because I want it to hold. I want it to hold strong. But now that it's in there good, and I'm happy with that. Okay, I think that's it finally for all of our weapon bay doors and our landing gear bay doors. That's all done now. Just like that. So that would be step number 38 37 and 38 done. See, 36 was the other side, that assembly there. Then 37 was our right hand, and now we put our lefts and our rights in. Okay. So 39, I'm not doing 39 because 39, well, that's the closed version, right? So we're not doing those. Flip 40. We got our flapper-ons, which obviously are already done because we got these installed. This is done. This is done. These are done. These are our leading edge flaps. That's done. Our tail planes are done. Installing everything's done. And we have the weapon pods, or we're calling missile launchers, but our pods. And I'm not doing the wing armaments, so I don't have to do any of this. None of this at all. Right? So just to show you again, I'm not doing these wing armaments. Obviously, my wings are clean, so I'm not doing any of these. So then we've got our vertical stabilizers, or tail fins, as I always call them. They're obviously done because my model's sitting on them right now. Right? Those are installed. I did install my little wingtip things, the little lights. Those are on there. You guys saw me do a coat of paint on them, and then they just slide into their little slots here at each tail, at the tip of each wing, and they go in like that, just like that. Very simple, very easy. Okay, so that's those. Then we have our ejection seat. Remember, we got that all assembled, and let's move my plane over here for a sec. So this is my ejector seat. I apologize. I put my seat belts, my photo etch seat belts on there, and got them installed. They're very simple and easy to put on. I just felt they're 3-dimensional, so they just add that little bit of detail. And I got my seat all painted up, and she's looking pretty. I actually wanted to maybe just have one of my little belts sticking out a little bit, just so that it looks a little more like it really is a belt hanging and not just something pressed against the seat cushion. There we go. Have my this particular buckle just not quite so flush on there, and that way it just looks the part even more. You know what I mean? Just helps look like real belt buckles, real belts laying down on there. So there we go. Again, there's our seat. Okay, that's the ejection seat. So this section all complete, done and done. Okay, so flip. So of course, 2 options. Now you guys know already I'm not doing the pilot, so I don't have to deal with all the painting of the pilot and all that. So we're not doing the pilot, which means I can put my seat in the cockpit now. I just thought of something. Did I skip the part? I skipped the part where I actually put my bombs in the weapon bay. At what point do I put my bombs in? I was supposed to put my weapons in the weapons bay before putting the doors on. Uh-oh. All right, guys. Well, this might be interesting. Now that I've got all my doors on, it might be a little difficult to fit my bombs in there. Okay, so what do I have to do? My missiles go on these racks here, and my bombs get their own little racks. So let's look at the installation of our bombs here. So I gotta get D. I gotta find my D. Where's my D? Well, where is my D gone? There we go. Found the D. So I guess I got 2 Ds. I got double Ds. I'm gonna actually separate these. I gotta separate my D from my C. So I've got CD. I got CDs. Does anybody use CDs anymore? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so D5 and 6, these two guys. These two very simply go together, like so. Give them a nice generous coat of glue, and there you go. Okay, there's one. We got two. We got 2 to do. So, bing and bing. And bing and bing. Okay. That's it for my D's. My D's are done. No more double D's for me. These two together. Okay. Now these have to be attached to my bombs. So I have my painted bombs here. And so this is going to go on with the longer edge towards the back of the bomb, according to the instructions here. Okay, like this. Or actually, oh, I don't actually put them directly onto the bombs. So I need to get some parts off my C's, and I need to paint those. C19 and 22, and I need to paint them. And let me see here. Yeah, okay, C19 and 22. So off my two C trees, C19s and 22s. Now I need 2 of each. So what have I got here? I've got 3 19s and 3 22s. I'm just going to actually separate this like this. I only need 1 set of them because I don't have any, I'm not doing anything on the wings. And we're supposed to paint these, so we're going to get our little X11 chrome and we'll give them a little bit of paint. Let's find our brush here. And give them a little paint. Give them a little silveriness. It's funny, you know, depending on which model kit you're building, I notice these things sometimes get painted like a gunmetal color, sometimes silver. It's funny, depending on what kit you're building, will depend on what color these are. There we go. So many things in this kit. Tamiya is calling out for X11, which is they call chrome, which of course is not chrome. It's not chrome at all. In fact, what I would call, if you asked me to choose one of Tamiya's colors that would best represent chrome, I would say it's not their X11 chrome at all. Yeah, it's a nice silver. It's a very bright silver, but this represents chrome much more than their actual chrome. And this is the LP48 sparkling silver. And that's a lot more chromy than their actual chrome, right? It really is. It's just, yeah. Anyway, so number 19 is going to go into the front hole. So I need 2 of these. 1, 2. And they've got a long peg and a short peg. And it looks like the long peg goes into the hole of the bomb itself. And it's going to go in like this. Slide in there. You slide in. She's almost sliding in. So what I'm going to do is put some glue on the peg. Because the glue tends to act like a lubricant. And that should help it slide in there. Yep. Just like that. All right. I'll do that on this one. Shove that in there, just like that. All right, so we need 2 22s. One, 2. All right, so I got some spares. There we go. Goes in like that. So there's one ready. Okay. And there we go. Okay. So now that those are on, we can put these on, and they just line up. I like the fact that they're pegs, that they actually pegs, and you're not just resting it down on there and relying on that. I like that. These actually have holes for those to go in. So I'm going to put some glue on these. Slide them in nice and flush, just like that. All right, there we go. Alternatively, I could just put glue on the holes, but it doesn't really matter. I just like a generous amount on here, especially with the Tamiya Extra Thin, because it dries quickly. And there we go. Done. Okay, so that's done. So now, do my bombs, can I get in here and get my bombs mounted? I think I'll be able to. So 2 great big pegs, and they are going to line up into the big holes down here and here, and here and here. So I'll try this side first. Let's just see how we all line up. I might need my tweezers to hold on to the bomb for me while I get in there because my fingers are fat. And they slide right in there. That's really nice. They fit perfect. So I am really happy with that. Getting it out of here might be a little trouble. Might be harder than I thought. Get out of there now. I need to use something. As I try and pick it up from the back, it's tilting, so I need to... Come on out of there. There we go. Okay, now this time I'm going to put glue on these, but I'm not using the Extra Thin. I'm going to use my regular orange cap glue, this stuff here. And we'll put nice, generous amounts on that to encourage this to hold forever. Slide that down, give it a little press. And there we go. Just give it a nice little press down here. Done. So one bomb installed. Okay, let's get the other one in there. Now, based on how easy that one went in, I'm going to assume this one's going to fit just as nice. So I'm not going to dry fit this one. And line this up. Yeah, just like the other one, this one fit perfect. Slid right in there. There we go. Okay, bombs are in. Our plane is now dangerous. We have a dangerous F-35 now. Now, we've got our two AMRAAMs, our AIM-120s. And they're going to mount on these little pods here and here. And they're just going to go directly onto those. Let's grab our missiles. I still have these kind of sitting on their little sprues. There we go. And there you go. All right, so we've got two little notches there, and they're going to go on and line up. If I can figure this out, just like that. All right. So I'm going to slather some glue along that guy. Not really slather, but just put it on those two little points. And line him up as best as I can. If I can, I want to get those right on there without sliding the missile around on. There we go. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, this one, same deal. Couple little dabs of glue on there. I'm going to turn my plane around so I can see the angle that it's going on. Line those up. Just like that. And let's check my angles. Looks good. All right, we've got our missiles in now. So there's our missiles. Missiles and bombs installed. So I just proved that you don't necessarily, if you're like me and you miss this step and you put your doors on first, it doesn't interfere with the installation of this stuff anyway. So that's done. We can go back to the cockpit and ejector seat section. Step 53. Step 53 here. Okay. So you know, if I'm smart, I'll give this a minute to dry. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Before I flip this plane over and start working on the top of it, I want to leave my missiles and bombs. I want to give them 5 minutes or so to just for the glue to really hold on to them. I don't want them to just have the weight of them slowly have the glue let loose. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to give it 5 or 10 minutes or so, and then we'll come back. Okay.
Moments later.
Okay, so it's been, I don't know, It's probably only been 3 minutes, but I feel like it's been 10. So I'm going to flip this over. We're going to go bing and do our cockpit again. Okay, just like we did. So let's get the camera back and yeah, and do the yeah. Okay, so we're going to put our ejector seat in. Now there's a great big hole right here for our ejector seat. And of course our ejector seat has our great big peg at the bottom of it that just slides down into that hole. Nice and easy. Easy peasy, right? I have already test fit this before, so I already know the seat fits fine. I just need to put some glue on it this time so that it's going to stay in there. So, nice amount of glue on there, and slide her down in. Just like that. Give a little bit of a push, just to make sure it's seated good. Done. Just like that. Ejector seat installed. All right. All right, all right, all right. So, and that's it. Oh, there's A32 and 33. If I put these on now, I'm going to break them, so I don't want to do that. I'll do those later on, okay? They basically just go into the little notches down on the sides here, okay? Nice and easy, but I'll do those later. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll paint them right now. A32 and 33. Let's find those. I have to find what's left of my A sprue, which I think is this one, yes. Okay. A32, 33, where are you? Down over here. These guys got to be painted silver or chrome, whatever. I'm going to paint them sparkling silver. If I can open it up. Inevitably, shaking these cans, you know, you get paint on the threads and all that fun stuff. So now, by the time these are dry, by the time I'm ready to put these on, these will be dry and happy. Dry and happy. Actually, before I close this up, let's take this and give my threads a wipe, break off that dried paint on there. Okay. Okay, so besides those, that's all done. So 55's done. Let's go to 56. We've got to kind of assemble our little instrument panel and they call anti-glare shield. So also off of our A sprues, so we need number 21 and we need our little display panel here. There's that. And that. All right. Now this was, we got to clean up our nubs, but it was nicely undergated. Undergate meaning, of course, you guys know what undergate means. You already know. It's when the attachment on the sprue is not on the side of the part, but under, so that it's in a spot. It's never gonna, the nub will never be seen. Even if you were to never paint it, the nub is never going to be seen. And it's called undergating. It's a luxury we don't have on this panel. Okay, so this guy is going to slide down into here. Just like that. So we'll need my extra thin. Don't need this stuff right now. Let's close that up. And go back to the extra thin and go in from the back here. Give that a little press. Make sure it's lined up. Okay. So yeah, obviously all my decals are on, and yeah, fun stuff. So we're going to, I've already got the decals applied on here, so don't have to worry about that. This guy's going to go down onto the aircraft. Let's see how he lines up. Well, I can already tell that this little part is going to go down into this rectangle here. This back section here is going to get lined up right on here. Just like so. Actually, this guy doesn't touch this little rectangle at all. Because see that angle that it's at, this angle here? That's the floor of the cockpit is angled, and that's so it fits down on that angle perfectly. Just like so. Okay, so where do I apply my glue? I am going to apply it in a couple of spots, and I'm going to use this stuff. I'm going to use a mix, I think. Maybe not. So we want some on the bottom of this and on the inside bottom edge of this guy here. I don't want any glue squeezing out the sides, so being a little conservative with it. Put it down like that. And there we go. So there it is, guys. Okay. So that's that for step 56. There's nothing else to do on step 56. It's just the instrument panel, which leaves step 57. So let's put this guy over here for a sec. I just want to make sure everything's all still nicely lined up. Right? And one missile is was looking a little funky, but she's okay. All right. So we need to do a little bit of assembly on some parts here. Still off of the A sprue. Let's take A24 and 25 and put those together. Here's 25. Now where is 24? Well, guess what? 24 is currently attached to the plane. And it's attached to the plane because, well, I needed to have it painted fuselage color and decals put on and all that fun stuff so that it matches everything. So it's still stuck to the side of the plane here. Right there. With I used my blue tack. And now I gotta kind of pry it out because it is a tight fit. I'm risking, I am risking chipping the paint on it with my knife because I have to pry to get it out. There we go. Blue tack holds good. Actually, I have to clean that out of there. Okay, that's good. So with that done, these two can go together. If you get them the correct way around, they'll line up good, just like that. So I'll just put a couple little dabs of glue on there like that. Normally I'd use the extra thin, but this will work fine. There we go. So that assembly's done. We could just leave that there, and we'll work on our ladder now. A 28, 27, 29, or 27, 28, 29, however you want to do it. They're all right along here, all three pieces. And I already spent the time to paint these the way they call out in the instructions, with the silver and the black and stuff like that. And the white, of course. Everything's been painted white for a long time. Let's clean up my nubs on here. Okay, so looking at this guy here, A28, it's going to go like this. And line up like that. So I'm going to have to touch up my white paint on A28, where I didn't quite get the sides here in the back. Didn't quite get my paint coverage on there. Now this guy, A27, it's like a step, and he's going to go on right here on the front side of it. Just like this. So there's your assembly. Okay. Just like that. Now, as you can tell, I've got to do some touch up on that. So before I put it on the plane, I want to touch up the paint on it. So let's put our glue bottles over here. Let's grab some X2 white. I do have this thinned down so that I can spray paint it, but it's good enough to give me that little bit of a weathered look without being perfectly, like the white's not a perfect coverage, so that's going to work to my advantage. I won't have to weather it because it's going to allow a little bit of the gray to show through, and it will look like it's a little old. Like, I mean, how often do the planes have a brand new ladder, you know? Not very often. So, yeah. There we go. And that's all I needed to do. So So, clean my brush. I think we're almost done. There's not much left. I think after this is going to be the canopy. And of course the canopy is the last part. So, they're not showing me any order of putting these in, but for some reason I have a feeling I need to put the ladder in first. So the ladder's going to kind of tuck up inside the little space in there. Looks like the top of the ladder here is going to go up flat against the roof. Like this. I mean, although it fits, it doesn't seem to like notch in very well, but seems to be okay. We'll put some glue on it. And it'll fall on the floor. How about that? That's a good spot for it, right? The floor is always a good spot for your parts. Not. Not. Yeah. So, I'm not happy about that. Why are you being a bitch? Okay, I just kind of wrecked my ladder in order to get this piece in here. Just trying to get this flat in here. There we go. So that's how this one goes in. It's supposed to go in all the way up. This should go all the way up to the in there. Okay, so now I'm going to apply glue again to this spot. And let's get the ladder in there. Tamiya has made this not really fit proper. If you get the one part in, the ladder doesn't go in. I'm gonna have to trim off this little tab. Got it. All right. The ladder's in properly. Yay. Okay. There's your ladder. Okay. That's how the ladder goes in. Tight fit. Now the door is simply these two little things that go in there. Like that. So the door is easy. The door is very simple. The door's nice and easy. Okay. So there we go. Our little door and our ladder is installed. Just like that. All right. Let's put that down and flip our page. Of course, I could have just saved myself a whole bunch of trouble and closed that door up, but it doesn't matter. After all, if my canopy's open and there's no pilot in it, how did he get out? So, flip, and I was right, canopy. Okay, so canopies, you guys have already known for a long time that I've masked these off and painted them already. This is my closed version. So I have already put in the frame on this guy, and that's this here. This is our closed canopy version, okay? So all you do is you glue in this piece together like that. What I haven't done is my open version yet. Okay, so now this is going to be fairly simple. This guy is just going to go down on top like this and be done. Okay, nice and simple. Our open version is going to be a little different though. And I have not assembled my open version yet, so I need to do that. So let's grab my open version, and I need to get my masking tape off from the inside here, from all my painting endeavors. There we go. Because we have to glue some things on the inside here. So I have some things. Where are my things? My things are over here. So we got to get this off of here. That is our G2. And then I'm going to need G3, but I need to paint G3, and I need it the same as this. So I'm going to paint G3 first while it's on the sprue. Actually, no. I'm going to paint it after I install it. There's G3. And I need G8 and G9. These two guys here. I'm also going to paint these guys once I get them installed. So this is number 9. And that's number 8. Okay, and that is it for the G sprue. So we flip this over like this. No, like this. G3 goes on here. And let's determine how he goes on. He kind of sits at an angle like that. So they show here how it's supposed to sit on there. So it sits at a bit of an angle like this, right? Okay, I'll paint that after. Now we can flip this over. Actually, let me clean up my nut before I do anything here. Okay. Now they want this painted white, but I mean, this is going to sit in. I guess I can paint the top of it. I guess so. I'll paint it. Fine. I'll paint it. Flip this guy over, and he's going to go into the canopy like this. But if I do that, this is the wrong way. Yeah, if I put him in like this, I'm not going to be able to paint that. So I'm going to have to let that dry a little bit first and I'll paint it before installation. The other thing we need to do is get these guys installed. So let's just make sure my nubs are good and clean on these. Okay, so got a couple of little notches here for these to fit into. Like so. You know, the contrasting black and white on my parts here really makes it easy to show you exactly how they go on. Just like that. Yeah. Of course, Tamiya being Tamiya, these fit really nice. Okay, so my parts are installed on our frame, but I need to paint these parts. They need to be painted black. This needs to be painted white, and I mean, like, hello, white, really? But we can do that. We can do that. They want it. They want this XF2. That's to me is flat white. I know I'm going past the hour mark here, or at least I'm very close to it. But I might have to do a couple of coats of the white on here to get coverage. But really, the only part that's going to be seen is the very top here. Flat white actually covers pretty good. I think that's good enough because she's going to be slid into a hole and basically not be seen anymore. So the other thing we're going to need is flat black. I know Tamiya calls out for semi-gloss black, but it's one of those things that it's not really going to be that important at the end of the day, especially when you're looking through it through the gloss of the thing, you know, the thing where it's you got the thing that you're looking through and it's a thing. Yeah, to look through the thing and then see it is just one of those things. Okay, got that done. Let's just do this a little bit more. Make it a little prettier. There we go. Frame is painted. Although this side looks like crap. I want to have this all black in here. I know I just painted it white, but it just looks weird. It looks weird, okay? Sorry. Okay, there we go. I don't know how accurate it is, but it matters more to me that it looks good than accuracy. Now our frame just simply goes into the canopy and gets glued in. It literally just sits in there like this, and that's it. So what I'm going to do is I want it to line up and match. It doesn't matter as much on the open version if it's sitting flush because, well, the canopy is going to be open. So it's like, yeah, who cares? And of course, Tamiya's capillary action with their extra thin is really awesome. And doing all that stuff. All right. So with a couple of applications of it along there and there, our canopy's glued in. Whether or not I have it perfectly lined up, I'm not sure. I could be wrong and maybe not have it lined up properly. It feels like I've got a little bit of a gap here at the front, like maybe I got it in wrong, or I don't have it positioned perfectly. But it could just be the way the canopy, the frame is. Because I feel like it's lining up great at the back here. Anyway, there it is. Okay. And then they wanted to put it on. So obviously I already showed you guys. The closed version just sits on there and is nice and happy to sit there. Our open version, this great big tab slides into that little notch there. And our two little arms go into these two little nooks. And are those actual holes? Or are they just, no, they're just little indents. So you just get those lined up. Line them up in there. And there's your canopy sitting like this in the open position. Now mine's sitting a little bit high up, a little bit open. Like my arms aren't quite sitting down in there properly. Now it's on the floor because I'm a goof. So what I'm struggling with here is getting my arms lined up into those little notches for them. They don't really want to line up. And also, this guy is not really sliding down in there very deep at all. I'm hitting. This is hitting, it's bottoming out in here. And I'm not sure why. I might have to do some trimming on it, actually, to get it to slide down in there, because it's not going very far at all. And it feels like it should go down another, I don't know, millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters. But it could be this arm on the floor again. No, that's definitely hitting. You need to go into your little slot. Go and get into your slot there. Yeah, my arms aren't lined up. Now I've got my arms lined up in the holes. But it's still sitting pretty high. Anyway, that's where it sits. Okay, like that. Okay. Is that it, or is there more to this? That's the final step, guys. That's it. Attaching that is the last step. Ta-da! She's done. So, obviously, I need to take the masking tape off of my canopies, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I need to spray this with a nice gloss clear coat to seal in all my decals, because I haven't done that yet. But once I've done that with the gloss clear coat and that's dried, I'm going to then hit it with a matte clear coat. And what that's going to do is eliminate all the carrier film glossiness of the decals. I find even doing gloss over the decals, you can still tell the difference in the sheen from the paint and the decals. But once I do the flat clear over top, it seals everything as a nice even layer, and all that shininess, that extra shininess of the decals completely goes away, and then they just suddenly look like paint, and it is like magic, and I don't know what it is why it does that, but it does. But that's the build, guys. We're done. The actual assembly is finished. So what I'm going to do, I'll do some spray painting. I'll do that off camera, and I will take some pictures of it, and I will post it up on my Instagram and on my X channel, like you guys always see. You guys always check those out, right? Down in the description box, you guys are always clicking those links, right? I know you are. I know you are, right? I also know that you're going to hit the like button and you're going to subscribe if you haven't already. And you know that I'd really appreciate that too. But that's going to conclude this build, guys. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for all the support. Thank you for the new subscribers and all the likes. Thank you so much. My next project is going to be a Lamborghini, but I'm not quite sure when I'm going to be starting that, because like I mentioned a couple episodes ago, that life is happening to me rapidly right now, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have the time to get started on it right away. Normally, you guys know I kind of pump up my videos pretty quickly, and new series, very kind of in concession one after the other. This is going to be the one exception where I just might not be able to get started. But then I might, I don't know. My life is in limbo right now and I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, thank you again, guys, for watching. Thanks for all the support. And we'll see you all in the next one.